Goku finally explains that Gohan is the legendary Saiyan warrior and not Broly as many thought. That's right, come with me, because today I'm going to show you this incredible revelation, because ever since Gohan gained the beast form, a lot has changed. So, without further delay, let's go. Since the first moments in Dragon Ball Z, Akira Toriyama made it clear that Gohan was not a common character. Even as a child, without any kind of training, he already demonstrated bursts of power capable of surprising even the most experienced warriors. That explosion of rage against Raditz, which allowed Goku and Piccolo to create an opening to defeat the enemy, was only the prelude to what would become one of the greatest forces ever seen within the Works universe. Goku, who from a young age lived in search of increasingly stronger adversaries, noticed something different in his own son, an energy that seemed to have no limits. Even being someone who believed in self-improvement through effort and struggle, Goku could not ignore that Gohan's potential emerged naturally, spontaneously, almost instinctively. It was as if the warrior essence he himself possessed was elevated to another level in his son. In the Saiyan saga, this became even more evident. Vegeta, a prince trained since childhood to be the strongest, was shocked to see that the boy, fragile in appearance, managed in moments of fury to unleash a power that surpassed his expectations. Goku, observing all that, was already beginning to realize that, if well guided, Gohan could surpass him without much effort. It was in the fight against Frieza that this premonition gained even more strength. While Goku was preparing to reach his peak, Gohan was capable of facing the tyrant's elite forces with surprising courage. It was not just brute force, there was a kind of emotional key in Gohan, a factor that made his energy multiply in moments of greater danger. Goku, who always maintained control over his emotions, realized that this differential made his son's potential practically unlimited. When the Cell saga arrived, fate clearly showed what Goku already suspected. Even with all the training done in the hyperbolic time chamber, he realized that his own power would not be enough to defeat the bio-android. Still, Goku was calm because he had full confidence in Gohan. It was at this point that he made the boldest decision of his life, to hand over Earth's future to his son. Many considered it irresponsible behavior, but Goku knew what he was doing. He knew Gohan's heart and knew that, unlike himself, his son did not seek fights for pleasure or a thirst for challenges. Gohan's strength came from a much deeper place, the desire to protect. And when Cell crossed the limits, destroying the warrior's hope, Gohan awakened as Super Saiyan 2, proving that his father was right from the start. At that moment, Goku not only confirmed his belief but also understood that he would never achieve the same kind of growth. He could train his entire life, but Gohan had a flame within him that not even the most dedicated of warriors could imitate. It was a unique potential, destined to transcend barriers that seemed unreachable. Even in later arcs, when Gohan chose to follow other paths, Goku never stopped believing in him. During the Majin Buu saga, upon seeing the awakening of Mystic Gohan with the power released by the Elder Kai, Goku was impressed again. That power surpassed even the Super Saiyan 3 form, a transformation that required absurd levels of energy. It was proof that, even without following the same lifestyle, Gohan was still one step ahead. This recognition was not just Goku's, but everyone around. Piccolo, who trained the boy from a young age, always reinforced that he would be the strongest. Vegeta, despite his pride, also saw this uncomfortable truth. But for Goku, there was no resentment, there was pride. Pride in knowing that his son had inherited something greater, something that could protect not only Earth, but the universe itself. With the arrival of new threats, such as Black Frieza and the Gods of Destruction, Goku continued to seek ways to surpass himself. However, with each transformation of Gohan, such as his beast form, this perception was renewed. He understood that, while he needed to achieve Ultra Instinct after decades of battles, Gohan awakened unique forms based on his emotional determination. It was almost unfair, but at the same time fascinating. Goku's gaze was never one of jealousy or envy. On the contrary, it was one of inspiration. He saw in Gohan the materialization of something that even he, the most obstinate Saiyan, could not achieve. It was as if his son were the natural evolution of everything he represented, a step beyond what the Saiyans were destined to be. This perception also shaped the way Goku acted with Gohan. Unlike others, he did not seek to force his son to follow his life of battles because he understood that Gohan's power did not need to be constantly tested to be real. It just needed to exist, just needed to be there, waiting for the moment the world needed him. And when that moment arrived, Goku knew there would be no one more reliable. Deep down, the greatest proof that Goku perceived Gohan's potential was the serenity he demonstrated in the face of every challenge. While other warriors despaired or doubted, Goku smiled, confident, because he knew that in the end, Earth's greatest trump card was not Ultra Instinct nor the fusions, but the heart and unlimited strength of his own son. In fact, when we observe the entire development of Dragon Ball carefully, the idea that the true legendary Saiyan is Gohan and not Broly becomes increasingly plausible. This is because since childhood, Gohan demonstrated a type of power completely different from any other warrior. His energy did not follow the common logic of the Saiyans, who depended on extreme training and constant battles to reach new levels. Instead, his power seemed to emerge from within naturally, almost like a cosmic inheritance that placed him at a level above everyone. The concept of the legendary Saiyan has always been shrouded in mystery. Broly was introduced as this mythological being, capable of growing without limits and with an uncontrolled rage that made him a destruction machine. However impressive it was, Broly's power still followed a pattern. It depended on hatred and fury, and his body became unstable. Gohan, on the other hand, does not need to lose control to access his true potential. On the contrary, his strength emerges in balance even when driven by intense emotions. It was precisely this detail that made Goku, Vegeta, and even Whis reflect. What Gohan demonstrated with his beast form is not just a transformation, it is something beyond, something that breaks the limits established for the Saiyan race. No other warrior, not even Broly, managed to reach such a unique and personal state, molded exclusively by his essence. It is a power that does not fit into the normal rules of evolution. And perhaps, for this reason, it can be considered the true legendary power. Another important point is that, unlike Broly, Gohan never sought to be the strongest. His life was always linked to other purposes such as study, family, and peace. Precisely because he does not live obsessed with combat, when his energy explodes, it comes from a much purer and deeper place. That is why, when Pan, Piccolo, or Earth are at risk, his transformation reaches levels that not even Goku can imagine. This places Gohan in a territory that no other Saiyan dared to tread. If Broly represents the primitive fury of the Saiyans, Gohan represents the final evolution of that race. He is the synthesis of everything the Saiyans could be if they united instinct, emotion, and consciousness. The beast form is the reflection of this stage, an energy so dense and unique that even the gods were impressed. It is as if the universe were confirming what has always been clear: the true Saiyan prodigy is Gohan. In the Cell Saga, this truth had already been shown. It was neither Goku nor Vegeta who defeated the most powerful threat of that moment, but Gohan. And he not only defeated him, he humiliated Cell, even though he was still an inexperienced teenager. Goku knew that no other warrior could have done that, and that is why he entrusted the final fight to his son. This episode was the first great proof that the legendary potential was in Gohan, not Broly. Another notable detail is that Gohan, unlike the others, never needed countless transformations to remain relevant. He did not depend on an evolutionary line of forms as Goku and Vegeta did. The awakening of Super Saiyan 2, then Mystic Power, and finally Beast already show a much more direct and natural path. While the others were chasing new heights, Gohan seemed to be merely awakening what was already stored inside him. This singularity is what reinforces the idea that he is the true legendary one. Broly's power may be frightening and incomprehensible, but he is still subject to uncontrolled behavior, excess, and instability. Gohan, on the other hand, manages to balance this absurd power with his mind and heart. That is why, even without training like the others, he can transcend barriers that seemed impossible. The awakening of the beast form made this clearer than ever. No Saiyan has ever achieved anything similar. Neither the original Super Saiyans, nor Super Saiyan God, nor Goku's Ultra Instinct resemble what Gohan awakened. It is something unique, non-transferable, that cannot be replicated by training or rituals. It is simply the manifestation of the true legendary Saiyan's essence. And the most impressive thing is that this power does not yet seem to have a defined limit. When Gohan faced Cell Max, his beast form emerged in an instant, almost like a dormant instinct that was just waiting for the right opportunity to surface. If in an emergency situation he is already capable of surpassing all expectations, what would happen if he truly decided to explore this transformation to the fullest? This shows that his potential is still far from being completely revealed. This scenario also puts into perspective the gods' view of the Saiyans. Whis and Beerus, who always analyzed Goku and Vegeta as examples of the race's evolution, must now recognize that the true phenomenon is Gohan. He does not need the logic of the gods of destruction nor the calm of the angels. He is a category of his own, a being who transcends even the legend of the Super Saiyan. In the end, Broly may have been called legendary for his brute force and overwhelming fury, but the true title seems to fit Gohan better. He not only surpassed the limits of the Saiyan race, but also showed that true strength is not born of destruction, but of the desire to protect. This is the essence of the legendary, a power that is measured not only by violence, but by the depth of the soul that guides it. And perhaps this is exactly what Goku always knew from the beginning. Although the world pointed to Broly as the legendary one, in Goku's heart there was the certainty that Gohan was the true chosen one. And now, with the beast form, this certainty has become unquestionable. Gohan will undoubtedly be the central key to the fight against Black Frieza. While Goku masters Ultra Instinct and Vegeta deepens Ultra Ego, it is Gohan who possesses the most unpredictable and uncontrollable power of all, the type of energy that Frieza has never faced. His beast form does not follow known rules, has no defined exhaustion, and can continue to evolve as the battle's intensity increases. This makes him the greatest direct threat to the Empire that Frieza has been building since returning with his new form. Furthermore, Frieza knows Goku and Vegeta well. He has already studied their styles, understood their forms, and even anticipated part of their strategies. But Gohan is different. He was never Frieza's focus, which transforms him into a surprise element. The tyrant may even believe that the biggest concern is Goku and Vegeta. But when Gohan enters the scene, he will see that the Saiyan's true trump card is neither of the two veteran warriors, but the son who always avoided fighting but who awakens as an uncontrollable monster when provoked. This emotional factor is also decisive. Frieza is sadistic, cruel, and cowardly. He loves to attack his enemies' weak points. If he dares to touch Pan or hurt Piccolo, Gohan will enter a state of fury, capable of pushing his beast form to levels never before seen. Unlike Goku and Vegeta, who channel their powers through techniques, Gohan releases his strength from emotional explosions, something that Frieza will never be able to predict or control. That is why, in the final clash, Gohan must be the determining factor. While Goku and Vegeta will hold Frieza and test their own limits, it will be Gohan who delivers the decisive blow. His power is not just another step in Saiyan evolution, he is the anomaly that not even the gods can explain. And before Black Frieza, this will be the trump card that will decide the fate of the universe. But comment on what you thought of all this and don't forget to like. Thank you very much for everyone's support, and until next time.